Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend is going well. It's Sunday, October 7th, and I want to take some time to talk about XRP. There's been a lot of different news I've been covering lately, and I want to just make sure that you guys are up to speed on what is going around Ripple and XRP. And I know there were a lot of disappointed people because they didn't see the price movements they were expecting after the announcement of the launch of xRapid. So I want to make sure I set expectations and you guys have some perspective as well. And don't forget, I always tell you to look at the business application of this and also keep in mind the other factors such as manipulation. And like I said, the business aspects of these banks having to actually roll out themselves on xRapid. See, the protocol, the actual working product can be live, but for institutions like banks and companies to get on board, that in itself is a process. But we have confirmation that there's 3 that would be going live this quarter. We are in Q4, of course. And those 3 are Mercury FX, Qualix, and Catalyst Credit Federal Credit Union, excuse me. But we know there's more to come. So to start off, I want to share a tweet from an actual Ripple employee. Once again, I'm not pulling this out of the air or just talking to you on a blank screen here. I'm showing you actual facts, and that's how I like to approach these things. Logical, factual. I'm not here for a religious following. I hold multiple cryptos in my portfolio, Ripple XRP being the majority of my portfolio. And the tweet I want to share, and this is a response to a guy named Ari Paul who was challenging the usage of XRP and trying to spread FUD. Even though the facts are already out there. And Tom Channick, and he is the communications director at Ripple. He was formerly at Facebook. And let me show you what he tweeted. And this occurred a couple days ago, October 4th. 3 companies are moving into commercial production with xRapid, in parentheses, as we just announced. 8 financial institutions have piloted xRapid, as we have been open about. Over 100 financial institutions on RippleNet. We are at mile 1 of a marathon. Now, this is coming from a Ripple employee, and this is what I love about Ripple. They're very transparent. They address the FUD. They're not afraid to confront these things, especially from people who are trying to, prominent folks who are trying to spread, FUD and fake news about Ripple and XRP, and who still, many of them have religious followings of certain cryptos. They don't look at it objectively. They also what we see happening is like Bitcoin maximalists are all about Bitcoin. They don't care about any other coin. And they're actually, I think many of them feel threatened by Ripple and XRP because they see the actual real world application that's taking place. And they know that Bitcoin's utility sucks. They're now moving it to a store of value instead of a currency. Satoshi's vision in the white paper is it for it to be a currency, but it has failed technologically wise. From that perspective, it is now moving to a store of value. And once again, I hold Bitcoin. I have nothing against Bitcoin. I call it as I see it, the factual aspect of it, it sucks as a currency. From a branding standpoint and people entering the market is great because people know about that. And it's going to do well because of the ETFs and so forth. And I hold Bitcoin for the record. But I have to be logical, factual, and take a business approach. What is the real world application? How's the utility? Right now, Bitcoin's utility is not great. A lot of its volume comes from people just using it to purchase altcoins and who use it to trade. It's not actually being used as, okay, I can go to this store and buy it with Bitcoin. Not a lot of people don't do that. I'm not saying none at all, but the majority are holding. Why? They want to make money. That is the real aspect of what is happening around Bitcoin, guys. So I thought this statement here from Tom Channick was spot on. We are mile 1 of a marathon. And if you've been a subscriber to this channel over the past year, guys, I've been on the record saying it many times that Ripple XRP is a long-term hold. That's not to say that there's some problem with it. The idea is real world adoption is slowly taking place. And I've mentioned many times, these are real companies and businesses, and they're not going to launch like some ICO and white paper because they don't want to screw this up and look bad. Ripple doesn't want to look bad and doesn't want to provide a bad service. And likewise, these banks and financial institutions that are going to roll out on xRapid, they're going to crawl before they walk before they run. If you've been in the business world and you've been through product launches, even website launches, I deal with website launches. There's soft launches and hard launches. There's trial and error and testing, QAing. If I know some of you are young, so you may not have context to this, but if you understand that, guys, you would get what is happening here. We have confirmation of 3 institutions. Are they fully live yet? No. Even if they go live, guess what? They're not going to be dumping all the money transfer through that. They're going to do it in phases, guys. So I want you to keep these things in the back of your mind, and so you don't move with every wave of, oh my God, the price didn't move. Oh my God, this is not happening. And I know some of you really want to make money. I want to make money too, but you got to be patient. You absolutely have to be patient. And even if you're holding Bitcoin, like I said in my video yesterday, guys, the price of Bitcoin hasn't moved, Ethereum or whatever, everything's been moving sideways, even though we had bullish news, TD Ameritrade, Rick Edelman, Yale. We had a really massive news, if you really think about it. Market didn't move. Bitcoin itself did not move. So all around, everyone has to be patient, even more so with XRP because of the real world application rollout that is taking place. So I'm sharing this so you have that perspective and you understand, you keep these things in the back of your mind, because like I always say, don't move by emotions. Don't invest with emotions. You got to look at the facts. You have to think logically. You have to understand the business aspect and rollout of this. And one of these 8 financial institutions, guys, or I should say 2, are two massive big name institutions, MoneyGram and Western Union. So let's wait for Mercury FX, Catalyst Federal Credit Union, and Qualix to fully roll out and get the volume moving. And then we'll see the other companies start going on xRapid. And then you will start to see, as that volume, once again, not just because they go on it, you're going to see a ton of volume right away. They're going to test it in phases. Then as the volume starts rolling in and the FOMO and speculation kicks in, the price will move up. Keep in mind, Ripple XRP went up 38,000%, I believe it is, last year, guys, on just speculation alone. It went to $3.80 on speculation alone. Once the actual real world utility kicks in, that will be the main driver. And then that speculation and FOMO is going to kick in as well, especially when you have news like MoneyGram, Western Union goes live with Ripple's xRapid, and that's picked up by CNBC and Fox Business and so forth. Now, obviously, like I've been talking to you guys about, there's manipulation in markets, price suppression, but I believe eventually as Ripple's volume starts picking up, because it's not based on the whales manipulating it, right? It's based on actual utility. We're going to start to see a decoupling of Ripple XRP and Bitcoin. And I've said it before, it will capture the number 2 spot permanently from Ethereum, and it will battle Bitcoin for number 1 spot and eventually take the number 1 spot. Now, I'm not saying that's happening next month or 4 months or 6 months from now, but I believe that as, once again, real world utility kicks in and the volume of money that's being moved daily, trillions, it will eventually capture the number 1 spot. If you, like I said, I'm not putting my emotions in this. This is facts. If you break it down as to what Ripple XRP is going to be, how it's going to be used in disrupting a multi-trillion-dollar industry with cross-border payments, you would understand what I'm talking about and that volume moving, guys. So be patient. Now, another tweet I want to share here, and I've covered this guy, Philip Nunn, before, and this is not some random Joe Schmo, or I wouldn't be sharing it, but he recently said, hey, I personally don't, I'm not invested in Ripple in the sense of, I believe in what they're doing and whatever. And that's okay. Everyone has their own opinion. But like I've said before, you have to respect what Ripple is doing, and you have to understand the facts of what they're doing. He said here, he tweeted this earlier today, I've been called out a lot about my Ripple XRP statements. You are missing the point, and it's this. Crypto only survives now with one thing: adoption. Speculation's only going to take you so far. People are going to see through like, okay, so what are we doing here? What's the point of this? It has to move, it has to progress. We have to have real world utility. And he says here, and Ripple are way ahead of any other offering when it comes to relationships with banks. We should all applaud. This is a person who's objective. This is a person who gets it. And I've said the same thing. Ripple is head and shoulders, light years ahead of anything else that's happening from any other project in the market as far as getting their digital asset, their crypto, into real world adoption. The use case that Ripple has for XRP is unlike anything else in the market. This is not buying a TV on overstock with Bitcoin or buying coffee with Bitcoin. This is the transfer of money globally through the biggest institutions in the world, the ones that hold your money and my money. Right, we all keep our money in the bank, right? So unless some of you keep it on your mattress or something. And this is where I call out the Bitcoin maximalists and all these other people. They're so anti-banks and this and that. Yet they have their money sitting in a bank account, and when they need a loan for a house or for a car, guess where they go to? A bank. So what are we talking about here, right? At the end of the day, forget about emotions and feelings. What are the facts? What is the real world adoption? What is the application, the utility? And that is what I'm about. Like I said, I hold Ripple, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin. So I am here to make money. I believe in crypto. I want to see crypto grow in adoption. But first and foremost, I'm here to make money. And as I know many of you are. So once again, I'm not giving you a random statement. This guy, Philip Nunn, he's an entrepreneur, CEO, cryptocurrency specialist, public speaker, blockchain evangelist. He owns WealthChain Capital, which, let me just give you the description here. WealthChain Capital provides institutional clients access and exposure to emerging cryptocurrency and blockchain arena. So essentially, they are service connecting the investors to blockchain and cryptocurrency projects and so forth. You can check out his website, wealthchain.com. I don't know the guy personally, but once again, I recognize his position in the market and who he is and his company and so forth. And like I said, we have to be factual and objective about these things. And if you don't understand, and this is Bitcoin maximalists and all these people should be thanking Ripple. Like I said, it's changing the narrative of crypto only being used by terrorists, criminals, and scammers and all of that, right? To cryptocurrencies. Various cryptocurrencies have real world adoption, real world utility, and are solving real problems, and Ripple is leading that. So these people should really be objective. I'm not saying you have to love it. I don't care if you don't, from a principle standpoint that you say, okay, I don't want to hold XRP. That's fine. That's your, that's your opinion. That's your feeling, and you have the right to do that. However, if you're going around spreading FUD, then you're just being an idiot because you're not being objective. You're not looking at facts. So guys, like I said, it is a long-term hold. Now, on to some very interesting news shared here by Leonidas. He said, Ripple mentioned in the World Trade Report 2018 by the World Trade Organization. Big things are cooking up behind the scenes. It's not just banks. Ripple is working with governments and central banks around the world, and a lot of the IMF and a lot of the global fintech organizations, guys. So, like I said, these things take time, but the facts are all here. I'll put a link to this report, guys, and you can read through World Trade Report. This was released October 3rd. So let me give you the news as far as what they mentioned here. For this item, it says blockchain could further reduce cross-border financial services. An increasing number of startups are leveraging distributed ledger technology with a view of further reducing the cost of cross-border payments, in particular transaction fees, exchange rate costs, and costs related to correspondent banking. A U.S. startup, Circle, provides blockchain-based cross-border payment services for zero fees and a zero exchange rate markup. The company, which started in the United States before moving to Europe, recently entered the Chinese market with an aim to connecting Chinese customers to the rest of the world. Another US-based company, Ripple, and they actually have the website here, has ambitions to circumvent the correspondent banking model through its distributed ledger platform. It gives banks the ability to convert funds directly into different currencies in a matter of seconds and at a little to no cost, solving real-world problems without relying on corresponding banks. The company has licenses with more than 100 banks and financial institutions, but it seems that only a limited number of large corporations have taken place. Large operations have taken place to date. Banks are still testing the system. So, as you can see, it's a process, and we've already got confirmation of 3. And like going back to the original tweet, right? 8 financial institutions piloted xRapid, over 100 on RippleNet. And remember when we talked about multi-hop, even though there's going to be specific financial institutions and banks using xRapid alone, the ones who are using XVIA and xCurrent via the multi-hop feature can leverage xRapid on the fly. So it doesn't even matter now that this bank is saying, I only use xCurrent. When the need arises, they will be able to use xRapid. So don't miss that. Before, it wasn't that simple. Now it is, because Ripple has integrated their 3 core products in a way that allows the banks to seamlessly make that jump to whatever their need is. So that is a very awesome call out here, guys. And this is the World Trade Report. So this is not a joke. This is not, some random blog here, guys. Big things are cooking up behind the scenes. And I'm super excited. And it looks like someone here shared this, the XRP ecosystem maturing. Apparently Circle is now involved in Ripple's ecosystem here. I'm not sure to what degree, but obviously there's a mention here in the report. So we have to wait and see what unfolds. But very big things are cooking up behind the scenes, and I'm going to continue to hold my XRP long term. I do have my price points that I would cash out some at, and I'm going to be patient, guys, because time and time again, I'm seeing the facts, and I'm seeing the partnerships, and I'm seeing the progress being made. Like I said, and we have to remember, this is real businesses. This is not the launch of a white paper or something like that. They have to go through the testing, the Q&A. They have to take their time because they do not want to roll out something that is not tested and it breaks and something happens. Both on Ripple's side as well as the banks, they have to go through those testings and make sure everything's working well. And on the note of solving real world problems, Swift, which is obviously Ripple's going after, which currently controls the money transfer industry, as a old and dying technology, continues to get hacked and continues to have problems. Just this article here from the 5th of November on FinExtra, fintech news site. North Korean hackers use Swift network to steal more than $100 million. FireEye. A North Korean hacking group has used Swift network to try to steal more than $1.1 billion from at least 16 financial institutions around the world since 2014, according to a security specialist, FireEye, which warns that the crooks are still operating. Swift is like the horse and buggy, as I've said before, and Ripple is a 2018 car sedan. It is that big of a difference. We know currently, it takes 3 to 5 days for the money transfer and all of that good stuff. With Ripple, 3 to 5 seconds. And obviously, through the bank process will take minutes. Minutes compared to days, guys. So don't miss what's happening here. I know, like I said, some of you are disappointed, but you need to understand how this is all working together. And you can't just, I know people get the tunnel vision of crypto, like, oh my gosh, you're going to get pumped, I'm going to become a millionaire. We are moving into a different stage, and don't get me wrong, so there's still going to be some speculation pumps, but we are moving to, the maturing of the market is going to move us into the utility phase, as I've said before. And this whole market list here, a lot of these ICOs with just a white paper with no working paper are going to get wrecked, just as it happened in the dot-com bubble. There were actual companies and had working product and a monetization a model, right? They had a revenue model. And there were those that just raised money and had no revenue model, no actual working product. It was some like mydog.com or something, and they were raising millions just like these ICOs, and they all died. They got wrecked when the dot-com bubble burst. But out of that, 90s dot-com boom, tech boom, through the bubble bursting, we came Google's, right? The Google, the Yahoo, the Microsoft, and all of that good stuff. Bing, right? Your Amazons and so forth all came out of there. So actual products, and that is Ripple. It's going to be one of the winners through this market as it goes into the bubble phase. I don't believe it's in the bubble phase yet because the big money is going to enter now. Eventually, it will get to a bubble phase, and then, like I said, this market list is going to shift. It's going to be a lot of projects that are going to get wrecked big time because they won't be able to sustain themselves. They don't have actual real world utility. It's a lot of it. I know people are trying to gamble and pick up a lot of these news ICOs because it's under a penny. And then if I buy 1 million of it and it goes to 2 cents, I make this amount of money. Be careful with that. I'm not saying the opportunity is out there to make money, but if you got to be careful with that because there's going to come a point where it might not end up losing money. Sure, some people have made money and gotten, they through this phase, but be careful. I'm just telling you guys, be careful. Look at projects that actually have real world utility because that's where we're headed. So guys, I hope you understand this. Ripple XRP, long-term hold, marathon hold, not a sprint. Understand the business application and the time it takes for these things to roll out. But you will be rewarded if you wait because once the actual volume from the money transfer and Ripple starts capturing, Swift's market share and more banks get on board, it's going to be all about the utility, then the speculation and FOMO on top of that. I shouldn't say on top of that, but in conjunction because the market's still young. And I think all of those three factors will certainly drive the price up. So be patient. Like I said, if looking at the charts bothers you, don't step away from it, right? And don't try to make money overnight. I understand some of you need money, but if your whole thing is, oh my God, I can't survive, or I'm banking so much on crypto, you shouldn't take that approach. It's like banking so much. It's like you should be working hard and saving your money and doing whatever and invest what you're willing to lose. But your livelihood shouldn't depend on this, right? The opportunity to make money is definitely high, the potential, but it shouldn't be so part of your daily life that, oh my God, I need this money. That you can't function or go about your daily life. Something's wrong there, right? And this applies to stocks, real estate, whatever it is. You should be comfortable living your life, paying your bills, doing your thing, saving your money, obviously making some investments, but only invest what you're willing to lose, and let your investment mature. It's that simple. So some of you really need to re-examine your position in the market, and don't get when you're, like I said, you're banking so much, I'm gonna be a millionaire in 3 months or whatever. You're going to set yourself up to be super disappointed and to get wrecked, right? Because the statement is bulls and bears make money and pigs get slaughtered. So look up that statement if you want a full detail. That's from Wall Street. So guys, what do you think about this? Like I said, I wanted to share this and talk a bit about Ripple XRP to make sure your expectations and your outlook is right and you have the right perspective. And I think Tom Channick from Ripple here just summarized it really well. We are at mile 1 of a marathon. Keep holding, be patient. Don't try to be rich overnight. And just let's hold. And like I said, if the market bothers you a bit and it's getting to you, step away. Take a break. Don't look at the charts. I've done that in the past where I'll take a week off. Obviously, I'm doing videos, so now I'm looking at it. But throughout the day, I'm focused on other things. I'm not like constantly looking at it. There was a point where I would get up in the morning and I'd be looking at the charts, and I was like, no, man, I can't do that. That will drive you nuts, and that will take a toll on you mentally and emotionally. So when you get up, you may have the urge to look at it. Go do something else. Change your routine, right? Don't get so emotionally attached to your investment. And like I said, don't invest with your emotions. And don't look at the charts as much as you do anymore, right? Or the prices, I should say. So what do you guys think about this? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.